Hi again, people, and welcome to this monologue. Now, this is just a follow up on an article I wrote some time back in the Elephant Journal about artificial intelligence. It got a lot of responses, including one colleague who has actually started using it in teaching some classes, which is a good thing. But I felt the need to expand a bit more on it because the responses come from the typical sort of pedestrian quantitative thinking that's become so commonplace in our society, not just in Kenya but elsewhere. A lot of people came up with comments like AI can solve this, AI can solve that. AI. Some doctors are even doing surgery by AI remotely and this kind of things. Well, that's not what I was talking about. I'm not even qualified to talk about the technical aspects of AI. I don't know enough about IT. But what I was talking about is the logic of AI, or the lack thereof. Um, we have this, we have developed this thing that we want to transfer all our responsibility to as humans. And there are a few examples you can see recently in the news. There's been a report of Fujitsu, the Japanese tech giant, had provided accounting software to the Royal Mail Service, and some years ago there's a glitch in that software that somehow brought out claims that postmasters and postal workers all over the country were stealing money from the post office. Well, as a result of this, long story short, hundreds of workers were fired, prosecuted, convicted, went into depression, and there were even a few suicides from the reports I've heard. This shows the decline of humanity. A computer claimed Mordecai has stolen some money. No one bothered to humanly check, where is this money Mordecai stole? Where did it go? Where was it from? Because money must come from somewhere and go somewhere. No one followed the paper trail. The court believed the computer. The court believed the computer. And this destroyed lives. So years later, now there's that blatant apology, but it doesn't change anything. But this shows the danger that human society faces now, when the most powerful in our society become so indolent that they think they can press a button on a machine and it makes things work. If you look back in human history, power, wealth, authority would come from production, creation, ideas, philosophy, innovation, and aptitude, human aptitude, whether physical, intellectual, engineering, numerical, whatever. So, for example, Leonardo da Vinci is a great artist because of the art he produced. Now, power comes from those who are best at usurping something that's already there and creating perceptions around it that it's valuable, and creating the perception around it that they somehow own it. So that's the kind of power you find even with Elon Musk. I've struggled to find anything he's ever invented, but yeah, there's that power there, and these are the people who have power, and they call it, put in quotes, because it's no, it's a perception of power in the world today. And these are the people who gather like at World Economic Forum, and governments look to them for advice, and they drive policy, etc., and they have no responsibility because they've never created anything, and they don't produce. So AI is sort of from that realm. If you look at AI, whether if you use it in writing, I've seen a lot of articles, reading students' work, etc., that's produced by AI. You can't see the logic where it comes from right now, and it's touted as something that saves cost and creates efficiency. That's rubbish, because AI itself costs a lot of money, and it's something that has grown from the devolution, no, not devolution, the outsourcing pandemic that hit the world some years ago. And this is where companies wanted to engage customers and sell products and services, but not be responsible for those products and services. So someone in some rural town in America could order something online from the next city and it would be sent to him, and if there's a problem with it, there's always a calling number. You get on the phone, you call, and some guy picks up your call in Pakistan. He has no idea. He pretends to know what you're talking about. He has no idea. He has no idea where that little town where you live is. He has no idea about the product you ordered. He doesn't even know what it is. But he's supposed, first of all, he even tells you, my name is Jim or something, and he tries to speak in an accent you can understand. And it ends up in a lot of wasting of time. My experience with those things in the US is that the that in on certain occasions you even get a machine answering your call, not a real human being. Usually you need to go through 3 or 4 machines before you get a living, breathing human being. And it's a nightmare for someone like me because the machines can't even pick up on my accent. They can't understand the English I speak. So it grew out of that. Get to machines, and now come ahead, we have ridiculous things like self-driving cars. Why are we inventing a self-driving car? Those of us who've driven on roads know of the hazards of driving, and you know you could never sit and relax or go to sleep or work on your laptop in a car that's driving itself. It can't happen. Not humanly possible. And because of um, regulations, compliance, and accidents that have happened, we now have self-driving cars that by law are required to have a human driver sitting in the driver's seat ready to override the machine whenever and whenever necessary. So why don't you just have a driver driving your thing? Why have you spent billions on this? And it's the same thing. We come to accounting. Our former president, who used to be the Minister for Finance, had a huge hole in his budget, the budget he read one year, and it was the implication, financial implication, was billions of shillings, and it was bleedily dismissed as, oh, that's a computer error. And suddenly, so a human being is not responsible, so it's a computer error. That's the same thing with our obviously cooked exam results in Kenya. Anybody who's done any statistics of any level knows that our exam results, which we're putting out from the kids doing KCSE and these other things, are cooked. There's no way, nothing in nature occurs without normal distribution. That's why it's called normal distribution. But we go ahead because there was certain outcomes that were required, and someone fed that into a computer and wanted AI to bring it out. So that's why we have some strange thing called provisional results. Then they massage the data through AI. Then there's something called final results, and we are just messing up kids' lives. On a more serious note, you see things like the Boeing planes have been flying around with some loose bolts on some doors. There's no way human inspectors inspected those planes and left those bolts loose. It's a computer that ticked off the inspection box. Simple as that. If there was a human, he'd be prosecuted. You realize that. But it's a computer that ticked off the inspection box and so, oh, plane is safe to fly. Off they go. And now that they go back for inspections and tightenings and all this kind of thing. So what is the logic of this? It's the neurosis of capitalism and the cannibalistic nature of capitalism. That capitalism seeks to grow profit and grow power by destroying the source of that power. How do you sell goods, make profit from selling goods and services to humans while you are busy replacing those humans or disempowering them because you don't want to pay them? I mean, there's no other species in recorded history that seeks power by replacing itself with something else, or by seeking to replace itself with something else, because obviously it doesn't work. And this is the flawed logic we must think about. If you look even on our streets, like you see billboards like Safaricom, they now have advertisements that are not human beings. They're AI generated images of human beings, of toddlers and old men. Those, you look at, those are not attractive to customers. I hope someone from Safaricom hears this. That's rubbish. That toddler image of a toddler, AI generated image of a toddler make me, does not attract me, or does not look cute. It has no soul. That old man doesn't look friendly because he's not human. There's nothing in his eyes. And these are things you can't quantify. You have to think qualitatively. And there's no logic there because Safaricom's a multi-billion shilling company. And the human models who model for them are paid 50,000, 25, 30,000 shillings. So what money are they saving? So we are now doing this as an aim in itself. Capital and AI development is supposed to be a consequence of another aim you had. Capitalism cannot be the aim; it's an outcome. It's a necessary evil, but it's an outcome of certain production aims, commercial aims, etc. AI is an outcome of needing to achieve some tasks and some areas going beyond the realm of human endurance or strength, etc. Then you put in AI. I mean, if you look at computer electronics show going on Las Vegas now, there's remote control tractors. And someone says, oh, I'm controlling this tractor, I can stop it, turn it, it's tilling a field. And the purpose, he says, to help improve quality of farmers' lives so they can do other things. So you're trying to rescue a farmer from farming. Where's the logic in that? So we want to rescue farmers from farming, artists from producing art, etc., etc. We are trying to rescue humans from humanity. This is bound to fail. It will, in the fullness of time, it will fail. So the future is not AI. The future belongs to those who understand how to limit AI's involvement in their lives. The short-term future also belongs to those who know how to subvert AI, whether financially, etc. They will make some money before the fools wake up. But right now, the most important thing to understand is that if it's intelligence, it's not artificial. And if it's artificial, it certainly isn't intelligence. Let's think about AI in our lives.